I'm joined by Indian cricket fan Rishi Chabra. I'll also be joined by cricket columnist Amrit Mathur. But Rishi, let me get you into this. Would you say it's just the question of wrong lengths or India not having enough bowling options to defend 306?
Well, Rika, before that, I think not much of an experience in the bowling department because we saw, a lot of freshers. Umran Malik made his debut today. Arshdeep Singh made his debut today. So I think the bowling department lacks a lot of experience. And, let's not be too much critical about our bowling because even though they lack experience, this is how they will get to that experience level, playing in overseas conditions. And I think, this ODI that we played today in the long run will benefit a lot because, we're one year away from the 2023 World Cup. So it will be, beneficial for all these players to get a lot of experience. And that's how it is.
And thereby, you would say that despite what the result has been today, these bowlers should be given a long rope?
Exactly, because, the more games they play in these conditions, the more experience they will gain. Also, when you're put in a situation where we were today, that New Zealand were cruising when they lost 3 wickets and after that there was a big partnership. That's where their experience will come in from the IPL game that they played and they'll try to break those, get those breakthroughs. But that didn't happen our way. But again, in a small ground where, batting first is difficult, chasing was easy. So I think we have to give our bowlers some credit that, they did well to, get those 3 wickets as well.
Absolutely. Rishi, what we are really doing here is looking ahead to that World Cup you mentioned next year in October, November. Now, you mentioned about, giving themselves opportunity in these conditions, but conditions in India will be very different from the conditions they are playing in. So this is, of course, the first series that they have put these boys under trial. Would you then think that a new set of boys should also be tried, or this is the bunch that we should more or less look at playing in the World Cup?
I'm not really sure, whether all of them would be in the bunch, but I think it is now high time that we need to pick up 30 best players that we see as potential players for the 2023 50 over World Cup, because, there's not much time left and we'll be playing a lot of 50 over cricket as well. Now, like you mentioned, the 50 over World Cup is in India. I think the experience that you get out of IPL will help them, to adapt to the home condition. But when we're playing away from India, we've seen, our performance in 50 over World Cup or 50 over format hasn't been that great. So for me, I think, these players doing well and getting the experience in Sena countries is a must. And that's how it has been the situation right now.
Rishi, you are one I know who watches all kind of cricket matches and has been watching over a period of time. 300, scoring 306 is now no mean feat, and then you get beaten. Would you say 300 will be the new norm now in ODI cricket?
It is actually, because, when you're batting first, you don't really know what kind of a target would be a safe target. When you're chasing, okay, we need 300 runs in 300 balls. We can actually plan our chase as per the situation that we are in. But, the kind of a start that Shikhar Dhawan and Shubman Gill gave us, we were just 40 in the first 10 overs. Obviously, the batsman gave us the runs in the death overs, but the start was very, very basic. In a 50 over format, I would want someone in the opening pair to go all berserk like Virender Sehwag used to do in ODIs. I think we're missing that, X factor element in our opening stand. Also, I feel, players are playing a bit safe, that they want to score runs up the order and, cement their position in the top order.
So what you would like to,
you
would like to see a Surya Kumar Yadav and a Shikhar Dhawan open?
No, not really, because I wouldn't tinker with Surya Kumar Yadav's playing position, but yeah, Shikhar Dhawan, the kind of a player he was a few years back, I would want him to not worry about his position, whether he'll play the 50 over World Cup. I would want him to go express and get us runs at the strike rate of 120, 130.
But that rarely happens in Indian cricket when you are in a senior position. The players constantly, they keep thinking about their position in the team. And Shikhar Dhawan is one, despite having had an impressive run, time and again he has been dropped from the team. And now he's been given the captaincy. The onus is on him to prove once again, not just as a batter, but as a captain. As a captain, Shikhar Dhawan, how much would you give him today on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think probably 6, that not much to read into his captaincy because, like I said, he's been given a very raw squad that hasn't played too much cricket together or, hasn't had very experience. But then with the kind of a squad that he has, he did pretty well. But like I said, there are still some areas that I would want the team management to focus on, especially getting runs in the first few overs. And we all know, the kind of an attitude that Shikhar Dhawan carries, that chill ass attitude. And that attitude is going to reflect on other players as well. And that's where, he comes in very handy. But scoring runs up front is going to be very important for us going in the future.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about India's bowlers and the two debutants today. Though Arshdeep has been in the momentum, having played the T20s. Umran Malik, did he impress you today?
Absolutely. And I think, Umran Malik was one player that we should have added to the 2020 World Cup squad when Bumrah got injured, because we all knew that India lacked a fast bowler and Umran Malik has the pace. I know he isn't experienced. I know he's very raw. He hasn't played a lot of IPL and international cricket, but his experience his pace would have been very crucial for us. But I think they both still have a long way to go, but the start that they got today is good. And I hope, they get us many more wickets in the future for India.
Amrit, Shikhar Dhawan said that the match was lost in the 40th over. Would you say that was the turning point of this game?
No, I think the match was lost very early on when New Zealand were batting, because despite the 300 runs, we were never really in control of the bowling when we were bowling, and we didn't pose any problems to the batsmen. So I think that's a matter of concern that we went to this game with 5 specialist bowlers. There's no Bumrah up front to take wickets, and we were struggling. They coasted to a win, and they won with 3 overs to spare. So I think that's worrying. That do we have the right bowlers? Or do we have the right combination of going into a game with only 5 specialist bowlers? Because our batting unit did quite well. 300 runs, your top batsman made runs. But our bowling never looked penetrative enough to restrict them or to get them out.
Amrit, these series are going to be leading into the World Cup, and they are auditioned for the World Cup that is going to happen in 2023. Who are the boys you think should come into the team right now to give it a more complete look?
Listen, we are, I think, about 20 one-day games away from the World Cup. And this is the time we need to sort of experiment, make sure that the roles are clear, the right players are identified, and they're given a good run before the tournament. So what worries me is that we are confused about Rishabh Pant. He's batted number 4 today, and he's been pushed up the order even in the T20 games. But today at number 4, he looked like a number 8 batsman. So I think there has to be some clarity about what is his approach going to be when he's batting 4. And because he's such a fantastic talent, and I think he's doing injustice to his potential and to his talent. So I think that's a big concern. And as I said earlier, we desperately need bowlers to take wickets up front, because otherwise 320, 300 is chaseable, as New Zealand showed today. I think one good thing today was Washington Sundar. He's come after a long time, and he made an impact with ball and with bat. So that's good, because if you compare him with, say, Shardul, who's also the all-rounder slot category kind of player, Shardul didn't look good enough today. Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe his best is behind him in terms of long-term career with the Indian team. So Sundar, I think, great positive. And despite his runs, Umran Malik a positive today.
Let me ask you one final question before I wrap up. I asked this to Rishi. 300, it's going to be the new normal in ODI cricket?
Well, 300 is, I think, not enough. If the wicket is good for a one-day game, I don't think 300 is enough. You have to get into the 320, 330 kind of a range and region. Right. Because today was an easy victory, because 3 overs to spare, they would have got another 40 runs with ease. So I think we have to adjust to this changed approach of teams in terms of making runs up front, pushing you beyond 300.
Right.
So, but fortunately, there are 20 matches to go, and we'll sort these things out.
Thank you very much, Rishi and Amrit, for joining me at this hour.